Welcome to the Hanley Effect, a podcast by the Hanley Foundation designed to educate, change minds, and save lives. Our goal is to inspire you, showcase our innovations, and change the conversation about addiction and mental health. Join us as we unravel stories of resilience, recovery, and hope.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hanley Effect. How are you doing, Dr. D?
Good, Dr. D. How are you today?
I'm well. You are Dr. Rachel Docekal.
And you are Dr. John Dyben.
We just like to, we make things up as we go.
We do. We had different names a few episodes ago.
I feel like that was very professional newsy, but we're in such a cool studio.
This is a different studio than we have normally.
It's beautiful.
And today we have one of Palm Beach County's most amazing human beings on the podcast with us.
Who do we have, Dr. D?
We have Mrs. Marcia Andrews, who, Mrs. Andrews, I know that you're probably best known for being a member of the Palm Beach County School Board, but you have really been so involved with many, many different communities in Palm Beach County for years. Say hello to our listeners and our viewers. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, good morning, really good afternoon to everyone. And it's wonderful to be on the podcast. And I just had my two little doggies here, and I was just telling my husband, so you're gonna have to bleep me out to move them out the way because I don't want them to.
Okay.
We love it.
We love that.
I was a listener today. Get everybody out.
I have a little tiny dog as well, and they really are very interested when things like this are going on. I don't think we're going to edit that out. We'll probably leave that in because it was adorable.
It'll be one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, and usually they sit with me as I go through the Zoom meetings. I have a lot of Zoom meetings, and they sit right here. I have Piper and Dinky, and so they thought they were sitting here this morning, so we're trying to get rid of everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So Mrs. Andrews, you are definitely, let's just ask your husband to wave to us.
Yeah,
hello, sir.
He's gone with everybody. I wasn't sure. I thought I was more of a listener today, and I said, everybody sit here, you have to be quiet. They're usually pretty quiet, but then when I saw it was me and I'm going to talk to you, I said, everybody has to go. That was funny.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Mrs. Andrews, you have such a passion for kids and for our community. Just talk about that. You have been on the school board for a number of years, but boy, you really have a long history before that of working for our community.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, listen, I grew up right here in Palm Beach County, and I graduated from Palm Beach County School District. And I was a teacher in the school district for so many years and a principal. And I also worked in human resources. And I have almost 50 years within the school district of working with children.
Wow.
And my favorite job was being a teacher. And I'm always a teacher every single day, because when I see children, I always see me in them, where a teacher saw something in me when I was a small child right here in West Palm Beach and said, you can be anything you want to be, go for it. So every time I see children at any age, I always talk to them and find out how they're feeling, what they need in life, and everybody's being taken care of. Are you happy? And I introduce myself and tell them I'm always here for them. So that was just part of what I do every single day. And just yesterday I was in a church, and the two ladies that were pastors, because we're celebrating International Women's Month of March, and they were twin pastors talking about the children, and they grew up in Pahokee, and that's one of my area for a school board member. I've been a school board member for 15 years, and one of the things I do in Pahokee, which is part of my district, is go out and visit the schools in all of my district, but especially the Glades region which has been a passion of mine since it's about 40 miles from the coast. I usually travel there. I'll be there tomorrow during this time, but I love to see all the children everywhere in Palm Beach County and just give them a pump to say, you can be anything that you want to be. I'm here to be a part of your team. I can mentor with you, assist you, and work with your teachers in your schools and do the things that's necessary. I've gotten to know all of the mayors in my district where I am a school board member, lots of mayors, Wellington, Royal, Palm Beach, Loxahatchee, the Acreage. So I know all of the people that impact change for our children, for our communities. And I just get a big, somebody said, how do you get the energy? I get a big breath of energy because I know that when I see everybody and I work with them, it's going to trickle down to the people that see me and know I'm out here working for them every day.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know, Mrs. Andrews, you're kind of a big deal. You really are.
Thank
And
you.
you're very humble about this, but for our listeners, Mrs. Andrews is the chair of the Council of Great City Schools. So, Mrs. Andrews, will you talk about what the Council of Great City Schools is? And you've been part of that for so many years, and now you have been named chairman this year.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. In fact, I'm heading to Washington, D.C. on Friday
Wow.
for the Council of Great City Schools Legislative Conference, which we have every year. But the Council of Great City Schools is 78 of the largest school districts in the country, working with urban schools, schools that truly work with so many students that need a lot of help to give them support and attention so that they can be the best of what they can be in life. And the council represents those districts of at least 30,000 students or more. And what the council does is we work together to make sure that we help superintendents and school boards, and we work with the administration of all of those school districts to go in and let them know that they have a support system. When you have 78 of the largest school districts in the country, you don't have to really go and create the wheel. You work together on behalf of children, on behalf of academic achievement for them to make sure that superintendents know that we can actually collaborate together to work on how we teach our children literacy, math, just name it, whatever we need. Our ELL children, special needs children, all of our children that truly struggle so much. And when you go to the big cities, it's really a big deal when we see that there's so many cities that need a lot of help. When we look at Palm Beach County, we still have pockets of poverty here. So we are a big district. We're 10th in the nation. So when we talk about 78 of the largest, we're number 10 right here in Palm Beach County with Miami-Dade, Broward, Orange County, Orlando, Hillsborough, a little larger than us, Pinellas, Duval. We're those big ones right here in the state of Florida. But when we work together, we are a mechanism to help superintendents lead. We have programs to work closely with new superintendents, veteran superintendents that can come together and help all of the superintendents. So you don't have to be out there trying to figure something out by yourself. You have that leverage there. And for school board members, this is what it's all about for them and for the administration of every school district. How do we teach our children to make sure that they will be able to compete in this global society and be successful, especially in these big urban districts?
Yeah. Congratulations on that honor of being chair. I just really kudos to you and your leadership.
Well, thank you, Rachel, because we have an executive committee, which I do chair, which represents all of the 78 large districts. And we travel to take care of those districts all across the United States of America. And we look and we see what the needs are as it relates to legislative. That's why we're going to DC to meet the new person, Mrs. McMahon, who is the new chair for the Department of Education, the new director. She's meeting with us and talking to us and asking us the kinds of things that we want to see done for our children. You know, you see a lot of negative things, but we have to kind of look at the positive piece. We have to help educate people on, even if you make change, how do you make change in a way that you don't have a problem in actually taking care of the children? Because it all starts with the children. The departments and all of these things are big time too, and those are adult things. But when you really think about what the adult things do to impact children, we all have to talk about that together so that we don't miss a beat. And the Commissioner of Education at the federal level, Mrs. McMahon, she's coming with us to say, I want to hear from you all to see what you think that we should be doing so that we don't leave any children behind. So that's happening this coming weekend.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I have to say, first of all, I'm also a Palm Beach County native. And I have kids in public school. Shout out to Plamosa and to Diamond View Elementary.
Those are fabulous schools. Yeah,
they are fabulous schools. They are. And so first of all, a deep and honest, sincere thank you for a half a century of service to the community that we have lived our whole lives in. What just struck me is you talked about the different areas of that you represent, and I heard you mention Pahokee and Wellington and Royal Palm. You mentioned these places that anybody who's from here knows that you're talking about places that, though they are neighboring, boy, they are wildly different places. They might as well be on sometimes different planets because there's different needs, different cultures. How do you balance working in such diverse need, such diverse strength, such diverse culture? And I wonder, what are the things that you see that are currently our biggest struggles, but also what are those big strengths that you're talking about that we here in South Florida have?
Well, one thing that I know that we're working on as a school district, and we're working in every one of our schools within Palm Beach County, is on literacy and pre-K. Pre-K is the big deal. If we don't start early on with the students, you're playing catch up. Trying to make sure that children can read by third grade is a big deal. So we have to kind of work with families and parents. And this is one thing I love about the Hanley Center, that you're always working to help people be the best that they can be. So we have to help families be the best that they can be, and raising their children, getting books into their hands as soon as they have birth. We need to start at the hospital level. I sit on the board of directors for Palms West HCA Hospital. And one new initiative that we have is working with those mothers who are having the babies to get them involved with reading and working with their little babies from birth, because that's where you start. And if you get them started early on, way before preschool, I mean, starting them with reading and literacy, by the time they're in third grade or even in pre-K and kindergarten, they can do it. And we know that that's an emphasis in Palm Beach County School District. That's one of my big things that I'm working on with the school board and the superintendent. Reading, literacy, early on, almost right after birth. Start working with that mom when they're sitting there and they're feeding. Start reading those books and getting books in the hands of many neighborhoods that may not have them, and to the mothers that may not have them, and showing them the way. But when you think about District 6, which is my district, it covers all the way from Lantana and the Turnpike all the way to Canal Point, which is your northmost section of coming into Palm Beach County, the back way, way west, and then all the way to South Bay, Highway 27 that can take you to Miami is the other part of my district, all the way east to Lantana and the Turnpike. There's so many different communities. One of the things as a teacher, I know that we have to communicate. Communicating is everything, and getting to know your different communities because they're all different and have different needs. And we have educational advisory committees. One of the things I worked on when I was actually a principal back in the day, because that was one of the roles I played as well as a teacher. In Wellington, they had the educational advisory committees there. And so when I became a principal, I really learned so much because I would go to those meetings at Wellington. So when I became a school board member, I made sure that we had educational advisory committees in all of the cities, all of the village areas. Royal Palm Beach is one of my areas that we have an educational advisory committee. We meet once a month where you have the district leaders there, you have the parents representing the schools, that's the community piece. And we invite the parents to go to visit the schools and give feedback. We also ask the leaders from the school board, the principals, as well as district leaders to come to those meetings, and we discuss how can we make learning the best that it can be for children? How do we get the voices of the parents? How do we make sure we embrace principals in their leadership of the schools? And we have those meetings once a month in Wellington, Royal Palm Beach. Westlake is another one of my regions, and that's a big area, as you know, but that's the newest city in Palm Beach County. Westlake, far west, out on Seminole, Pratt Whitney. I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they have an educational advisory committee. So I meet with them in the Glades. We have an educational advisory group, Tri-Cities Education, that covers Pahokee, Belle Glade, South Bay, Canal Point area. And we meet all the time, each month, or even throughout the month, to talk about issues relating to our children. Mental health is a big deal. And when we think about substance abuses, a lot of our children get lost after the pandemic, or were lost a little bit before, but after the pandemic, they went through a lot of stress. And some of them are still fighting that because it took a lot to be disassociated with your friends because you were locked down because of the COVID pandemic. It took a lot out of the children. It made us learn that we can do more virtually. We can provide support assistance through mental health in our schools more. That's a big deal that we've been working on to make sure that we have more mental health counselors within our schools to kind of be proactive, not reactive when something goes on. Proactive. So those are the kinds of things we talk about. And the last group that I work with is the Glades Career Readiness Roundtable. Is a monthly meeting that we have the second Tuesday of each month at 10 a.m. out in Belle Glade, where we have a virtual piece as well as a in-person. But in the past, been going on for over 10 years now. Before the pandemic, we used to have as many as 50 people in that meeting each month. But when the pandemic struck, we did a little virtual and we do a little bit in person. So we have pretty close to 30 or 40 people usually each month on our meetings. And that's where we talk about anything that impacts the Glades, because the Glades being 40 miles, west of the coast, they don't have maybe movie theaters out there like we do. They don't have a whole lot of shopping malls that are equivalent to the Wellington Mall or the outlets or all these things that we have. And the children that need to have everything or as much access to these things as anybody else. Our schools need to be equivalent to whatever we have to the east. They need to have it to the west. So that roundtable meets once a month on the second Tuesday at 10. And I have a layperson, Attorney Daniel Roberts, who chairs that with me. And we invite principals, we invite the elected officials, we invite agencies just like the Hanley can come and listen. And maybe, Rachel, you've been there before at the round table. And we talk about all of the issues that impact the community: education, social, emotional, criminal justice issues, just whatever it may be that's going to help make the Glades region be the best region there is. We all just came back from Tallahassee, and we were working as a group. All of Palm Beach County was there. But certainly I was there with all of my areas, the Glades region, the Wellington region, the Royal Palm Beach, Westlake. I saw them all there. And I just wrap them all around me because they all know me as their educator leader for the school district. So having elected me 4 times.
For good reason, pretty darn clearly.
Yeah, since 2010. And so I'm on the road today. I'm just home this morning, but I said, my husband said, "You're home today?" I said, "Yes, because I got a podcast, but I've got something later this afternoon." So I thought I was just listening. I had never done a podcast before. So I wasn't dressed as well as I would have been, but guess what? Just talking to you all was fabulous.
and getting that, the answer that I heard, I heard a couple really important things. The biggest thing, how do you address all of the different, cultures and difficulties. And like you said, I mean, Belle Glade sometimes might as well be its own country.
Yes.
It can be so isolated. And then you've got Wellington and you've got these other areas. And the first thing I heard you say is, man, we talk. We
Yes,
talk.
that's
I
right.
get
We
people
do.
together in rooms and we sit down and we talk. And it's such a simple concept, but man, that we've lost that. I think
Yes.
in a lot of our culture, we've lost hey, you know what? The way you deal with differences is you sit down and you talk and you figure it
That's
out.
right.
And I love that, there's so much more, you're very, for it's so clear that you're an educator because your very first thing is I want you reading before you're in by the time you're in third grade. So we want to help moms and we want to help people we want to get books in communities. But there's also, and you talked about mental health and so much else. The first time I went to Diamond View, and I'll say Diamond View
I
Elementary,
love Diamond View.
and we're very involved. And it's funny today, my wife, who's the head of the PTO, they had snacks for and gifts for the
PTA.
teachers. PTA, right?
PTO is our vacation.
I guess I
time
wanted
at
PTO,
Hanley.
right?
I think he
Yes.
wants a
Mhm.
vacation
Yeah.
day.
But that's right, PTA. Thank you. We won't let my wife watch this one. But the first time that I brought one of my older child to school, and she's now in middle school, and I watched all these kids coming in, and all these teachers were up front greeting the kids, and they would say, "Hey, how you doing?" They'd call them by name, and they would say, "Have you eaten yet? Are you hungry?"
Yes.
And
Mhm.
and it struck me so much, and this was years ago, but it is that your education is about, first and foremost, it's about learning to read and all those things, but it's also about having a healthy human being who
Yes.
can do that. And I'm so grateful to hear you talk about that. I still, am moved by the thought that many of our kids are coming to school and they don't have, strong family supports, or they don't have,
Mhm.
they haven't eaten. And
They
so,
have-
our
Mhm.
teachers and our educators in this county aren't just teaching arithmetic and reading.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
really creating an environment where kids can learn.
Absolutely. And I would like to say we have a wonderful school food service department with the school district of Palm Beach County. And we do make sure that every child has breakfast and lunch. And we also send home food bags and boxes for those. And it's done indiscriminately. It's not where back in the day when I remember going to school, you would know who was on free or reduced lunch,
Right.
who could not eat. It's
Or
done so wonderfully now. You don't know that. You can't tell someone who's actually paying for lunch or who's actually getting a free or reduced lunch, because we've done such a great job with that. And we know that a lot of children go home without anything to eat on the weekend. So we have worked hard within the school district of Palm Beach County to give them bag lunches, bag foods, good nutritious things to take for the weekend. During spring break, we try to put food packages together for them, because that's 5 days, which we'll be doing next week during spring break, so that we have an opportunity for them to have food to eat. When I first became the school board member, we had 3 schools in the Glades region that were just really at a very bad state. And one of the things we were able to do is build 3 new schools in the Glades. The mayor said, we don't want just 1 school. We don't want 2 schools. We want 3 schools. And we took the board meetings out there to the Glades for the board members to see how we really needed to kind of invest quickly to make sure we built 3 brand new schools. And we did. And they're the crown jewels of the area, all the schools. The facility means a lot when you're going to school every day. You need
Of
to
course.
feel
That's right.
good. I
course.
remember when Diamond View was built, Palamosa, the School of the Arts, is fabulous. Out in Belle Glade, we have Glade View School of the Arts. So you have to have these art schools everywhere, because when kids know art, it improves academics. So when you start looking
does.
at what everybody else has, you have to make sure it's everywhere. And so I'm just on both sides, from the east side and the Wellington, Royal Palm Beach, and Westlake, and a little bit of West Palm Beach and Lake Worth. all the way back to the end of the county line. I have to make sure that we put all the pieces together. And technical education is great. So when I started back in 2010, we had the technical school closed, West Technical Education Center. But I went to Tallahassee and I worked with Rick Scott and the legislators, and we got those appropriations. And we've been getting the appropriations from Tallahassee since I've been on the school board for almost 15 years to help make sure that we have technical education and support vocational programs. Even though we have choice programs and career academies, we have to take it to the next level so that when every child walks across the stage at graduation, we know there's going to be an option for them. They can either go to college, they can go to the technical school, they can go to the armed services, but there will be something for them. They can even be their own entrepreneur, whatever they want. That's my goal, to make sure that they have a choice and they can leave on a good note for success in life. So that's what gives me energy every day, Rachel. When you see me going from place to place in my little car, and night and day, they know me just as well in Pahokee as they do in Wellington. And, you know, and our newest school, Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School, that's right there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's my school. And I knew Dr. Garcia, Dr. Joaquin Garcia. He was my friend, and he passed away during COVID. And we were lucky enough to get the community together, and they named that school after him because he was a leader, a strong leader that advocated for all children, especially our Hispanic children, to make sure that you didn't leave anybody behind. And he was within the school all the time, working with the superintendents, the school board members over the years. And it was just unfortunate that he passed away. But we've been celebrating him. And just a week or so ago, we dedicated an art sculpture at the school and a portrait of him. Oh, yeah, you have to go see it because it's one of the best things that I had seen in a long time happening at a school, where the kids can go and see the sculpture and sit down and think about what does it mean to them, as well as we had another sculpture, two sculptures, and we named the art room after the artist Louis Montoya, who actually painted the sculpture. He was there. So I'll have to send you that clip so that you all can.
I would love that. I would love that. You know, that's the kind of
stuff that's beautiful.
The first time I met you was right down the street from that new school. Of course, it wasn't there then. It was at Discovery Key Elementary, which is another one of your schools. And my youngest daughter, I think, was going into either 4th or 5th grade. And I know that you you go to the first day of school. You go to a lot of different schools in your area, and you were just standing at the front with you know, other members of administration. Hello, hello, as the cars would come through. And of course, I had no idea that you were the school board member for the area. I just thought, wow, what a welcoming face. And my daughter Lily, she hugged you. You sort of opened your arms, and she wrapped her arms around you, and she hugged you, and you said, "Hi, Mom." And we just walked into school. It was really, and then of course now years later, we serve on the Criminal Justice Commission together, and I've known you in your professional role as school board member, but also advisor to the superintendent. And that's what my next question to you is. Talk about school board members as advisors, not only to the community, but to the superintendent. That is an awesome responsibility that you all have, and you have to do it adhering to our sunshine laws, which means that you are not allowed to confer with other school board members. So you really need to go in as if you are a one person school board member advising the superintendent.
And it's really important because he is the top administrator for the school district of Palm Beach County. And we only have 3 employees, the school board. One is the superintendent. One is the superintendent, the general counsel, and the inspector general. Those are our 3 employees. But working with the superintendent, I love that because having been an educator, I know what happens in schools. But it's interesting when you have the superintendent who's responsible for all of this big, you have to be a great listener and listen to what the superintendent's vision is and to see how you can plug into that vision, anything that you know that can help make that vision become a reality. You have to give that support to the superintendent because it's a lonely world being at top, and he's the only one. It's 7 of us, but he's the only one. So being able to do that means so much for me to keep him focused on everything that he needs to get his work done each and every day. And so I meet with him, and he meets with all of the school board members at least twice a week. He is so good, our Superintendent Michael Burke. I bring people in to see him. I don't know if other people do that, but I see people that says, I've never met the superintendent before. And I say, well, he's a human being just like you, taking care of your children. Come on in and say hello to him. And I know with my time, sometimes I divide it. If I have someone that has never met the superintendent before, or a parent that just says, I just want to tell the superintendent what I think and what I feel today. I try to work those into the times that I meet with him, and the people feel so blessed to be able to do it because he is a rock star. He is the superintendent, but he is the person that makes those decisions. Now, our decisions come from the federal and state level down to us. We make the local policy, which he actually implements with his team of people, but you have to let him lead, and you have to provide that support and be willing to talk to him or her when you see there's something that does need to be fixed in a way that can help him get to that point so that he can do it. He has 7 of us. So all of us have to kind of make sure that we give him our input so that he can do the best. Now, when you look at the org chart, it's always about the students and the families. That's first, and then the school board and then the superintendent. But the main people that the superintendent is working for each and every single day are the children and the community and the families. And so we help him to get there. And everybody's not always happy all the time. So we have to work through those issues with him one by one, each one of us, even though we don't talk to each other. And we're coming from different places and different points in our lives. We have attorneys, business people, all kinds of people that sit in the 7 seats. I just sit as an educator, so I feel like I know a lot of pieces of the puzzle. And so I can help him if he needs, ask me, well, do you remember this? Or do you know this? And how did this happen before? And I might be able to bring some historical stuff because I've been there a long time. One of the things I'm so proud of Diamond View, as well as Discovery Key, is I worked in human resources for half of my time. So I was a recruiter, and I recruited almost every teacher. I mean, back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Yes, and
Oh,
so
that's great.
I helped the staff Diamond View when it was first built, plus
That's
all
so
of those
fun.
schools. Yes, I started as a recruiter in human resources, and I worked my way up to the chief of human resources, and then I went back out.
Of course you did.
And you've got a principal there who's been there at Diamond View anyway for 20 years.
Yeah, they know me.
That's so powerful.
They all know me, the ones that's been around, because I see a lot of them now. They are principals, but I recruited them from Florida State, Florida A&M, University of Florida, UM, wherever we were and all over the country. I did that work for a lot. I love that too. I just tell you, I just love teachers because I know that when you get into the classroom, it's truly all about the teacher and the student and the parent. And if all of those things are clicking well and everybody's working together, you're going to have success for the students. So I did that a long time and I loved it.
Right on. It's funny, and
I know. I hate that.
We are coming to our last minutes. I want to say, I have to say this. Ms. Andrews, I normally know the guests and have met, most of the times, and this is, I think, the first time maybe ever on our podcast that I'm meeting our guests for the first time. And I just want to like have lunch with you, or yeah, I mean, I just want some of that. I can just tell you as a human being that I just want to spend more time with you.
And she's
Thank
really
you.
like this. She's like
Thank
this
you.
all the time.
So I'm so grateful. Yeah, and thank you for you were right.
Yes, I know.
Rachel told me, what
Yeah.
an amazing person you are.
Yeah, it's
But
just-
Well, I told my people we're going to the council this week, and we can't worry about a lot of the big problems. We have to stay focused on what we're there for the
kids.
children,
That's
the
right.
council.
That's right. Versus
And that's
the
why we're
noise.
happy to meet Linda McMahon and all the people in DC to come back and keep everybody invigorated, because we can't lose sight of what the real things are that we have to be about in life every single day. And that gives me my power to do the work that I do.
thank you so much. That as a human being needing to hear that, as a lifelong Palm Beach County resident, and as a parent of a child that you have two children that you have responsibility for educating, I thank you. We like to take our last minutes, and we just want to, there's a lot of people that listen to this or watch this podcast, and some are professionals and some are not, and there's just a wide variety of people, and we just like to give you the last word. Thinking about the people who are listening, what last message would you like to leave to listeners today?
Well, I'd like to say to listeners that there's always a positiveness in what each one of us do every day. Don't get bogged down into negativeness. Just know when you get up every morning, we're blessed to be alive every single day, to do good work for somebody else, a student, a neighbor, a friend. So when we're blessed to be able to wake up each day, do something good for somebody. And that's what I say each and every day. When I get up and whatever I'm doing, going to visit schools out in the community, I know I've made an impact. I can go back home to my husband of 53 years and my 2 little dogs, and they bless me every day to say, are you happy? I'm happy because I was able to do good things for others. And so I just want us to kind of keep that in mind. Stay positive in whatever you do each day, and do something to give something back, because we're blessed to be here. So many people didn't make it, in life, to live as long as we've lived. Some little children, some big children, some older people that are not here. So they expect for us to be good to one another so that we can live as long as we can and say we made a difference.
I'm just going to say amen. And
Amen.
Mrs. Andrews, thank you so much for being here. Dr. D, thank you for being here, for hanging with, and for having Mrs. Andrews on.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you.
And thanks to everybody for listening, for watching. We'll see or hear you next time on The Hanley Effect.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for the Hanley Effect. To learn more about our programs, visit hanleyfoundation.org or call 844-502-4673.